So yeah, hi everyone. So my name's Jock Lawrence, the founder and CEO of Mobble. Thanks so much for joining the webinar, and I know a lot of you will be watching this after the webinar has been recorded as well. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Today we'll be going through the Mobble product, going for a bit of a demo, how to get set up, how to get things set up from the start, but also how to set things up if you're already using Mobble as well, so you can get the most out of it. So we're covering things like that. For people that are on the call, feel free to ask questions throughout, and we'll do a quick demo and then open up the Q&A. And we can get really into your operations and yeah, work out Mobble can work best for you. So it's very much a Mobble deep dive, and yeah, we can get stuck into it in a second as well. So all right, I'm just getting my screen. I'll share my screen. And this is Maddie as well. Maddie's in our marketing team. Yeah, she'll be facilitating today, so she'll be telling me to answer some questions and stuff as we go. All right, can you see my screen? Awesome. All right, so a little bit background about Mobble. So Mobble started back in 2019 or 2018 actually, where we were trying to centralize all our farm and livestock records on my parents' family farm. And since then, it's turned into a livestock farm management software, data communication platform that now helps over 3,500 farmers and their partners around Australia, New Zealand, and Canada as well now. So yeah, it had humble beginnings, but now it's helping farmers here, there, and everywhere. And it's a product that's close to my heart, and yeah, very passionate about making this Mobble better for you guys. And so any feedback you have, let us know. So this is a fake farm up in Queensland. And so I'm going to demo with this farm. It's got a bit of phony data in there, so if something looks a bit weird, don't worry too much. It's not actually real data. But I'll demo this one and go from there. So what is Mobble? Mobble is a livestock farm management software. There's two apps. There's one on the computer. That's one I'm going to show you today. And there's a phone app as well. So the phone app one is the one that you use out in the field, out in the paddock. It's the one you're updating on the fly, and it works offline as well, so you can still access all your farm and livestock records offline or online. The one on the computer here works exactly the same way. It has a few more reporting features and stuff like that. Much easier to map out the property on the computer if you're getting started. So yeah, some things I'll show you in here. You'll both be able to do most of those things on the mobile app as well. Yeah. So there's three different ways to view your Mobble property. You can view it by your paddocks list, your mobs list, or your map as well. Most people go to the map as it's a very visual place to view the property. And recording information on your paddocks, your mobs and your herds, and the property as a whole as well. You can map out. I'll start with the mapping because it's pretty nifty and it's great for any big operations that have multiple employees. So everyone can see what's going on. They can see things like trough or water points and where the livestock are and stuff like that. So the mapping, there's a few different things you can do. You can obviously map out your paddocks. It's very easy to do this. So when you're getting set up, for those that haven't set up yet, everything's added by this big plus button here. And you can zoom right in on your strainer posts and map out the paddock that way. It gives you the hectare straight away, add the paddock in, and you can add your custom types to it as well. So you can have different colors for different paddocks. So let's just say they're improved pastures, and call it back paddock. You can also map out nearly anything in Mobble. So obviously, I said before, you can map out your water points. You can map in pipelines. You map in electric fences, silos, roads, and all those sort of things. And this map is shareable across your team. So the whole farming team has access, all the family. And then also you can add in people like contractors or farm advisors to it. So when they're on farm, they can see where they are on their mobile phone. They can see their GPS location and stuff like that. I know my dad uses it for the roo shooters on our place, so they don't go across the boundary. Adding them in as a contractor. Yeah, so that's the mapping. And I'll touch on sort of the livestock management piece. So Mobble, we're recording information on all your livestock. Recording things like your natural increases, your casualties, purchases and sales, so your full livestock reconciliation. We're also recording things around compliance here as well. So you can add in mob action, and you can add things like drench or vaccinations to livestock. And yeah, sort of help with those compliance records. All your chemicals and animal health products and paddock health products are in your inventory, um, which is here, and you can load up the inventory as you buy in product, and then use that product out in the farm, and then attach those records to those animals or to those paddocks. Yeah, the inventory, we're tracking usage over time, and it sort of also helps with your compliance side of things, recording batch IDs and that sort of stuff in there too. We're doing a fair bit of the grazing management records in here too, so it's very easy to pick up and move a mob. So you just on your phone or on a computer, you can literally just drag a mob across and move that mob to that next paddock. Now we're going to get information on each paddock, like things like days rested and days grazed. So you can see this has been 0 days rested now, and other paddocks here that have been rested for say 53 days. And we're also getting things like I've got my stocking unit set as LSU, which is for cattle up north, but it could be DSE for sheep down south, for example. But the LSU, your average LSU for per hectare over the farm or over a paddock, here as well. So I can go into Jill's paddock here. I'll get a bunch more information. I've got this full paddock history of everything that's ever happened to this paddock over time. And then also the livestock in that paddock, and then the historic livestock over time. So you can see what's been in there. We take snapshots every single day of the property across all your paddocks, and we're also doing things like understanding your LSU per hectare here as well. And this is a sort of like your paddock performance or your field performance line here. So working at the last 12-month average, it's a rolling average. So you can sort of see what paddocks performing better. Drier seasons, you'd expect that to go down as it is here. And just a little hack or a little tidbit here is you can even go to your paddocks list here and order your paddocks in sort of your highest average LSU or stocking rates versus lowest, and you can sort of get an understanding of which your highest performing paddocks are. You can also come to this page and order things by days grazed and days rested in paddocks as well, so you can get that information up nice and quickly. Now, Mobble it can be really customized. It's really flexible for your operation. So I'm going to quickly go through. There's some highlights, some of the top end features, but I'm going to go through some of the setup right now to help people that already use Mobble and people that are thinking about using Mobble to get set up from day one. So the first thing you're doing when you're getting set up, you're adding in your paddocks, you're adding in your livestock. Now, one good thing to do before you add in your livestock or to rethink how you're setting up your livestock is to go into the settings here and have a look at your classes, types, and tags section here. And we can basically delete all the things we don't need, and then keep the things we do. So for example, like cattle breeds, we might not use most of these ones. So we don't want them showing up in our list all the time. We can get rid of, say, Jersey because we're not a dairy farm. And all these sort of breeds we don't use. So it's just defined for our farm. If you have if you have a breed that's a cross that you might want to add, you can add that breed. You add in custom breeds. So maybe it's a Brangus or something like that that you want to add in. You can add that in, and then that's an option. Bubble up there, but now it's an option for your farm to put that breed in there. So that's one example there. Now I'll keep going down here. You can also change up the classes. So for these cattle classes, we have a few different options like dries and heavies and whatever, but you can class your cattle any way you like or your sheep any way you like. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I go to the map or the mob list and I select a mob, I can see there's a class as calves. Now you might have different classing conventions. Basically, you can think of it as a naming convention for that mob, and it could mean nearly anything. So it could be like a weight class, for example. It could be something to do with their progeny. So maybe these particular calves came from some type of bull that you might want to record as a class. So think of it as a naming convention, and the beauty of the class is that we're tracking that information over time. So you can look back and see how many of that class we had last year. How many wet cows did we have last year versus dry cows? And and how much versus this year. So we're tracking all that over time. So have a think. It's worth having a think about your classes. And then in this section, or you can do it within adding a mob as well. In this section, you can either delete the classes that you're not going to use and add in your custom classes. So it's very customizable to your operation. And yeah, you can add those in on the fly there. Um, yeah, you can also change if you want to have tag colors on your cattle, you can change the color of your tags here as well. That pops up on the map and it shows you what color the tag, or the color year tag that they are as well. So worth having a look at. Sometimes people miss that you can add in your own paddock types here. So customized typing here. It could be like some sort of vegetation layer, or it could be also a crop type as well. So if you're say a mixed farmer and you might want to record what went into this paddock, have that visually shown, so you can see your grazing paddocks versus your cropping paddocks. So I might want to put in barley as a type here, and I can select my color like a nice orange, add new. And then when it comes to that time of year when you're seeding, you can change, say, this paddock type, paddock info, edit that paddock. We can change that now to barley, and you can get that visual representation on the map of of what um, of what that is, so that orange paddock there. Yeah, so some little tips when you're setting up Mobble. It's worth noting as well, the mob actions and paddock actions. So I've mentioned that before, is where you can add treatments to livestock or paddocks. So for a mob, you're adding a treatment like this, add a mob action, and you're adding a product to it. But this could be also any type of note. So maybe it's a worm egg count on sort of your sheep, or it's a note on notes on the date, the joining date when the bulls went into this mob, or whatever it is. So it's all customizable here. So you can have customizable action types, and we got summaries on all these as well. So for each type, you have a summary. So you can be a bit creative here. Like Mobble is flexible, so you can have your own notes, what notes on different types on your mobs, and then also on your paddocks as well. Mobile does basic cropping records, so you can change the colors of a paddock, but you can also add paddock actions here and add products to those paddocks. So it could be a spray like Roundup for the paddock. It could be applying a superphosphate, like a fertilizer, and you add all that product there, and we're recording that product usage over time, um, for example. And yeah. So just noting that there, but. The reason I'm bringing this up is because you can customize this list of what sort of records you're creating on that paddock there. Now, another thing when you're setting up mobile, another thing to think about is who you're going to invite to the property, who you're going to invite to the farm. Now, I often recommend that you invite everyone in your farming team, because mobile works better when everyone can see what's going on. They can see the livestock, they can see the locations of, say, feeders, they can see all this information. Now, when you're adding people in, there's a few things you might want to think about. You're adding team members here. You can add in a team member. There's different roles. Sorry, there's different roles when you're adding a team member. So, say if this is someone in the family that you want full access to the farm, so you might make them an admin. And they get full access to the property. They can see all the sales records and livestock rec. If you want to, and if you're an employee that don't want to see all the sales records, for example, you can add them in as a user, and they can create and edit most things like move mobs around and create treatment actions and stuff like that, but they can't see any of the financial stuff. And then if you've got someone that you don't actually want to use the app, just to view the app, you can have them as a view-only user. So that just stops any, like if you're maybe not super trustworthy of someone to update the records, you can have them as a view-only. So it's a choice that you make, how much access they have as the team members. And we also have this other thing called Mobble Connect, and this is your third-party access. So you can add in contractors, your accountant, your farm advisor. This is completely a choice. You don't have to do this, but and they all get different views of the property. So the accountant's a great one. So they have access to your livestock reconciliation report, sales and purchases, natural increases in casualties, all the information they need to, to do the end of financial year reporting. But then also a lot of accountants they might make changes to a quarterly thing so they can have more access to the information than they've had before to help inform you guys. So that's a really good one. You can add your farm advisor in, go to agronomist, add them in, they can see what's going on. Contract is a really good one. We probably use this one the most on our farm, which is in Seymour, North Central Victoria. And yeah, it's just for people that maybe got a fertilizer contractor coming onto the farm. They need to know where the paddocks are. You can add them into the map, and they basically all they can see is the map, see their location on the map. They can go do their paddocks, and then we actually have a timed limit on this. It's only access for 30 days, or you can just delete them when they're no longer needed as well. So there's no risk of them staying on there forever. So yeah, so that's a really good one as well. So just a note on that. So that's sort of the main things we need to think about when you're setting it up. Also, one other thing, units and formatting. You can change your stocking rate unit. So if you're in Northern Australia, you might use AE or LSU. Southern Australia, you might use DSE. North America, but you'll use AU or New Zealand SU. So you can choose your stocking unit here. And then if you want to change to things like acres instead of hectares, you can easily change to acres. So you're more used to acres, you can change to acres. And any of the length units here as well. So that's just worth noting for people that prefer a different stocking unit or area unit as well. I think I've covered most of the setup things that I want to cover here. I'll quickly touch on some of the reporting that Mobble has. So all this sort of the data that I've been talking about that you're collecting, we've got summaries on all of these. So basically everything you've ever recorded in Mobble, there's giant summaries tables of this information forever. And you can click in here to see exactly what these were and what date. For example, like this vaccination record to these cows. And that could be on your purchases, sales, and stuff like that. Yeah, all your map assets on the place are listed. And we also bring all these reports together and build out a livestock reconciliation report, which is it's basically a change in livestock numbers over time. So you have a starting head date, which could be like the start of financial year, and a closing head date, and the change of those numbers over time, and everything that's happened in between, like births, purchases, casualties, and sales as well. Yeah, so this is sort of that snapshot we're taking every single day of the property to get these sort of records. Yeah. Other little features that I'll quickly mention here while we're here is there's really good collaborative features in Mobble. You can have tasks, add in geolocational tasks and stuff like that. Or you can just create a task list for someone to tick off during the day or the week. So you can add a geolocational task in things like either fence, like a tree over a fence to do in the future, or maybe it's something in the task list here, which is like, oh, let's on this date we don't drench the cows in back paddock or whatever it is. So yeah, task section's really good. People get notified when tasks are due and when they're created, so it's a good way to keep the team informed of what things need to be get done on farm. And I'm just quickly going to go through a couple of things that have been released recently. So for people that are mobblers already, some things you might not have found yet. One great thing here is we've created this bulk selection feature in the mobs table, and I'll bring it to the mobile view because you use this out in the paddock a lot, right? So I might want to say all the Brahman calves or the Brahman mixed sex here. So maybe I'll filter it. So I'll go cattle, Brahman, mixed sex. Maybe we've vaccinated all these. So I can do a bulk action. I select all these and I can do a bulk action here. So I've selected all these. I can add the product to them. What type is it? It's a vaccination. And then you're just creating one record for all these animals instead of having to do one at a time. So that's going to save you a lot of time. You can also do things that like, say if we've brought all these cows into the yards for processing or they're for weighing and they're going to be split out into different paddocks, for example. we can move all these mobs at once into the yard. So that big move button here, move them all at once to say the yard. Um, Move them all there. We can sort of box them together. We can split them out. So it's really good for that sort of bulk processing of livestock as well, and that sort of thing. Um, yeah, and last thing here with the bulk functionality, we can bulk edit LSU or DC or your stocking unit as well. So something's changed to these cattle. They got bigger. So we want to go, these are 1.3 LSU now and apply that change across all the livestock. Nice. Oh, one other great thing I'll just mention, if you're mapping out Mobble for the first time and you notice the imagery is out of date, it's a good idea to see what other imagery providers we have. So satellite imagery. Up in the top right corner, there's an option here, and it gives you different map options. It's a place where you can do a bunch of things like download a KML file of all your map, or you can also filter on and off different layers of the map. But you can also change your satellite provider to a different provider here that might have more updated imagery for your operation. So that's just worth noting if you're mapping out and you notice that it's a little out of date, you have all these options here to have a play with and see which one's the most up to date for your operation. And it's quite variable. It could be one side of the farm, you use one satellite provider and the other. So yeah, that's handy for when you're mapping things out there as well. Awesome. I'm going to leave it there and see if there's any questions from people on the call, and we can get into the nitty-gritty of what problems that you guys want to solve and sort of go from there.
Jock, there was a question in during registration. Someone was wanting to know about printing the farm maps off or emailing farm maps for employees or contractors. So that might be solved through Mobble Connect, but if you wanted to talk to that point.
Yeah, sure. Awesome. So yeah, 100%. Like it works best when you can just add the contractors or add the team members to Mobile. Like we definitely recommend that because that's just a digital record on their phone. So to get a GPS location works best that way. But if you do want to print it off, basically you just play around with this map here, and get it to get it to the right view that you want to print off. So for example, if I want to get rid of, if I just want to do the paddock boundaries with a really nice white background, I can choose this terrain background. Here, I can turn off all your mobs. I can turn off my tasks. I can turn off my map assets if I want to. And then I'm just left with a really nice sort of, your classic farm map. And what we're just doing here is we're just doing print screen, or we're doing a screenshot of this map here and printing that out. If you just search Google how to do a screenshot on your type of computer, because Mac is different from Windows, you'll be able to find how to do that. Or just press the print button, and that'll be a great way to print that off. Yeah, I think in the future we'll have like a print to PDF feature where it'll be a bit nicer, but at the moment that's the best way to do it. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. If anyone has any questions, feel free to come off mute and ask them or drop them in the chat. There was also a pre-registration question just around integrations that we are doing or any that are in the mix.
Great question. So yeah, integration is a big focus of ours. At the moment, we've got an integration already with AgWorld, for example, and that integration is about getting the livestock information into AgWorld. So the mixed farmers out there that use AgWorld, you'll be able to see your mob locations within the AgWorld app. And we're about to improve that integration a lot more in the coming months. And what that's going to look like is we'll also get the withholding periods. So if AgWorld's got some sort of spray rec being completed, spray record, the withholding periods from AgWorld are going to come into Mobble, and you'll see a red line around that paddock. So Mobble already does this. If you do the spray record on a paddock, it'll show like a red line around that paddock and show you that in withhold. It'll disappear after the withhold's gone. But to stop that double entry of data, we're just going to drag that straight from AgWorld into Mobble, so that withhold you can see around the paddock. Another one that we're working on right now that we can openly talk about is we've got an integration coming with FarmBot. So FarmBot is a water monitoring solution. They have all your sort of tank monitors, trough monitors for levels, pressure in pipelines, like water pressure in pipelines, and anything to do with water. They have sort of sensors and stuff for that. Things like rainfall as well. So we're trying to do a pretty comprehensive integration with them. Whatever information they'll give us, we'll try and put it on the mobile map. So what it'll look like is, say, if you've got a FarmBot tank monitor out here in the paddock, it'll kind of look like this. It'll have this little pin, and you'll be able to select it, and it'll give you a bunch of information, say like the percentage fall, potentially even a graph over time of your trough levels, or trough or tank levels there. So we're going to bring that all into mobile, and we're just basically with all this stuff, we're trying to make mobile a more central place for your farm data, so you're only having one app to come to. And then from there, it's yeah, open to all kinds of different integrations. But a few ideas about integrations is like access. If you've got like use like a figured or a farm focus, pushing mobile data into those systems, so you don't have to fill out the livestock reconciliation report. So that's something that we're thinking about. And then other IoT providers as well, things like farm companies like Farmo, and other companies that do those tank monitor devices and stuff, bring that information to mobile. But it's an evolving space. It's an exciting space, I think, and companies are just starting to be able to get to like an ability where that's possible. So, good question. But integration is definitely a focus. You're making things more interrelated and connected. Yeah.
Jock, there's a question from Jane who's on the webinar at the moment. So, Jane, you feel free to come off mute and ask a question or make sure I'm asking it correctly. But Jane's asked about going back to basics. Jock, you recently had tasks as pending. Once completed, just wanted to talk about editing them.
Yeah, great question. I'm not sure. So yeah, you can there is a completed task list here. So yeah, say if this task is complete and Mel's done this, she'll mark it as complete. The owner of the task should get notified, will get notified that task is now being complete, and then it's done in this completed list here. Yeah, and then I'm not sure. Can you edit this? Yeah, it looks like you can edit the completed list as well. There, so that's how you do that. But James, if there's anything more specific that you wanted to find out there, I do know there's improvements to tasks we want to do, like adding tasks to mobs and stuff like that, because mobs are moving. So that's something we want to do in the future. But if there's anything else, Jane, let us know.
And a question from Sandy. Sandy wants to know, is it possible to add things like roads through GPS, either handheld or via phone? And feel free to unmute yourself, Sandy, and have a chat with Jock about this.
Oh, first, I just saw Jane unmute herself. Jane, was there anything you want to add with the tasks so I answer your question fully?
No, that was answered. Thanks, Jock. It was just like if the task was pending, can I go back in and mark it then when it's done as complete? So yeah, you've answered the question. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks, Jane. Yeah, Sandy. So yeah, we definitely can. I mean, if you already have a digital map, we can potentially upload it. But one of the best ways to do it is because the phone app, you've got your GPS location on it, so you can go out there in the paddock and be following a road, for example, and actually literally mapping it out as you go out in the paddock. So that's one way to do it if you want it super accurate. Obviously, it mobile does work offline. So yeah, you can create that offline, and then when you come back online, you can sync it back up. But a lot of the imagery, I would think a lot of the imagery, especially for roads, because roads are quite thick, a lot of imagery is quite good. You should be able to zoom right in and see a road boundary and map it out that way. But yeah, you can 100% use your phone GPS as you're driving along to map out something in the paddock as well. We also have like just a bit of a side thing. We also have like a measuring tools in the app as well, either on your phone or on the web app here as well, where you can, if you're say planning a new pipeline, you can measure out the distance from that trough to that tank or whatever it is, so you know how much like pipeline to purchase. So yeah, 1.9 Ks for this pipeline, for example, and you can also get area as well. So if you're trying to plan new
Yeah.
paddocks, you can get area there too. Sorry, Sandy, would you have something to add?
Sorry, I was just going to say, could you quickly run through how to map the roads? I'm just more likely to get my husband to do it if he can just press record rather than having to sit at the computer.
Yeah. Well, it's not, you don't just, it's not like, it'd be cool if it just tracked you and you could record your location and and just like followed you around. But, no, it doesn't work like that. So it's basically on the computer, I'll show you, and it's the same on the phone, but you have to press this big button here. You add map asset, right? You select what type of map asset it is, and it's a road. And then we literally just zoom in and map it out. So you go, like, say this is the road here, and you're literally going along, and just every time it bends, you're adding a vertice or a point. And maybe it's going down here now. You double click to finish, and it's the same on the phone, but in the phone you get your GPS location so you can see where you are on the farm. Double click to finish, add asset. You can name your road, but let's just call it road one. And add asset, and we'll see that on the map now somewhere. What was I doing? No, road one. I was come down. Yeah, road one. So which is this little line that I've created up the top here. So that answer your question, Sandy?
Yep, I'll have a fiddle with it. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, no, have a go. It's really easy to use a computer to map things out. I'd suggest that, but yeah, if you can't see exactly where something is, your phone GPS will work. I think the phone GPS is good too. If you get like a task out in the paddock, you can see your GPS location, say if you're on the motorbike, and zoom right in where you are on that GPS location to put that task in, which is or a hazard as well. Like if you're going past a big hole in the paddock, a wombat hole or whatever, you can mark that as a hazard on the map via GPS location. So yeah, we'll note that too. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Any more questions? We'll have a you'd also have your rainfall in here as well. So we have a sticky beak at my parents' farm for for interest. See how much rain they're having, the Brownwood house. And yeah, as you can see, North Central Vic, we've had good June, July, so we're pretty wet in the soil, but we're looking for some growth come August, September once it warms up. So very, very sort of short grass at home at the moment. You can see, yeah, much below average for most of the year in rainfall. So yeah, you can get all those records in there too. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Well, if that's what everyone's got, feel free. If there's any more questions, please yell out. If for people that just getting started with mobile, our customer support is awesome. So if you go to company here and see our contact details, depending which country you're in, the phone number will change. But if you call that phone number, or if you email this email, there'll be someone responding within half an hour of business hours. Like we're really good on the phones. A help center is here too. You can find a lot of the information that you're looking for here. I think it's underutilized, so literally anything from like adding a road to measuring distances. Like you can just search this and it'll pop up. And for those who want to start a trial for the first time, the best easy way to do that is just press sign up. You'll get a free 21-day trial of Mobble to have a bit of a play. You can start mapping in your place and putting in your mobs and just see if it's going to work for your operation. And then during that trial, we'll give you a call and see how you're going. There's no obligation there either. It's just it's just for your interest. So yeah, so I recommend having a little play within the trial when you're ready. Otherwise, yeah, thanks so much for joining us today, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jock.
Cheers.